U2TV Preseason show. We're with Hudson Falls coach Greg Smith. Coach, we appreciate you coming with this scrimmage today. The timing, everything worked out pretty good. Got two teams at once, but talk to you about your expectations for your season this year.
Absolutely. I think we return a lot of our strength from last year. Obviously returning, Jaden, who was a third-team Foothills player, Brady, who was a first-team Foothills player, Jamison Eisenhart. I think those three are going to be primarily our three-headed monster. We've got 6 seniors, 5 juniors. Expectations are that we compete for as many titles as we can get ourselves near. Obviously, Glens Falls returning 4 starters is going to be a daunting task, but I felt like we played them hard. We had a great spring. We had a very good summer. Without varsity football, our fall was a lot of basketball. My guys on the golf team don't get very tired, so they're able to get into the gym. I think that we're going to be a matchup issue for a lot of teams. I don't think there's many teams that can guard Brady one-on-one. And so that's going to create advantages for other guys. And if guys step up and knock down shots, we're going to be pretty difficult, matchup for a lot of teams.
Now, what's the biggest concern you got with your crew? I mean, is it foul trouble? Is it like not a deep enough bench? What could be?
All of those things obviously are an issue each and every year. I think depth is always something that you're worried about. Scrimmages like this are good. They're great for the kids to see what level of basketball there really is in out there. That's why we do that. Paul does a great job with Shen, so we come down, or they come up to us every year. We've had a lot of great scrimmages. We've been very blessed. I've been very blessed in Hudson Falls, between Jonathan Beagle to Evan Kwasniewski to Peyton Smith to Brady Smith. We've had a lot of really talented big guys. So our guard play is something we have to continually work on. And if we have successful guard play, we'll win the battle inside most nights.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna talk to you. I know it was a topic that's out there. I just want to see your thoughts on it. The public versus Catholic. I just want to get what your perspective on that is.
Well, as a team that's lost in the Civic Center to a private school, I think it puts our kids at a disadvantage. Honestly, when we had our best team a couple of years ago, or one of our better teams, all 13 kids had started kindergarten together. So, kindergarten or first grade, they'd come all the way through our entire school system. They'd been a part of our community the entire time. I see the other side of it. To me, if kids are good enough to go play somewhere else, then they should be in one of the prep schools. And if our area is strong enough to hold, an Albany Academy, then they don't play in the public high school athletic association. It's difficult because those are kids that my kids have played AAU with, so they know them. I get it. I understand it. Not all the kids up above Saratoga have those opportunities because we don't have anything regionally close to us. We're isolated to where there's not Catholic Central's in Troy, it's an hour away. CBA's an hour away. Everything's an hour away for anybody that's where we're from. Right. So it makes it very difficult. I like having traditional high school rivalries where kids know each other all the way through and play against each other. It'd be great if I could recruit. I would absolutely recruit. I'd run a sneaker AAU team, and I'd put in an apartment complex and throw it full of 6'9", lefty shooters, and we'd be all set, right? But they don't let me do that. So I'm stuck with the kids whose parents decided to live in our town. So that's what we do, and we do the best we can. And I think it puts public schools at a disadvantage. If it's going to be that way, then go the Vermont route and go school choice, and we'll see who kids want to play for. Right. And then we're on a college model. So I can see both sides of it. I get it. If parents want to move their kid to a Catholic school or private school, good for them. Give those kids an opportunity. I understand that. The issue that we run into is not always your first 5, it's your depth. They have more bullets in the gun.
Right,
so,
right. I got you. So, you're a very animated guy on the sideline, right?
Calm. I'm fairly quiet. The officials always love me, so I don't know why.
Talk to me about where that style come from. You've been coaching a girl for 17 years, like you said.
Oh no, I coached the girls the same way. There was just only 4 people in the gym, so it was even louder. That's just who I am. It's my personality. I'm a big guy. I have a big voice. Half the time I'm yelling positive things to my kids, and people still think I'm yelling at my guys.
Right.
And that's, I try to tell my guys all the time, make sure you hear the message, not the way it's delivered. I think that it's kind of become a, self-fulfilling prophecy, again, I think it's very difficult to officiate big guys. I think 99% of the officials in Section 2 and in New York State are guards. Very rarely do you see an official walk on the court that's 6'9". It doesn't happen, right? They're not out there. So those guys have played on the perimeter, if they played at all. And I think big guys get officiated very poorly. I think they call a lot of touch fouls on big guys out in the perimeter when they're in space, but underneath it's a wrestling match. And what gets chosen to get called and what doesn't are often wildly inconsistent. And again, it's a tough job. They always said that, and don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing anybody that plays with us, but they always said Shaq was he made contact with somebody every possession. My big guys make contact every possession, whether they're fighting for offensive position or they're playing on the defensive end. I think it makes it tough. Again, foul trouble in a high school level with 5 fouls it can dictate a game. And unfortunately, it should be the kids that dictate the game. It is, again, they're part-time employees. We're part-time coaches. I'm a full-time teacher, part-time coach, even though I'd rather have it the other way around. But it's a tough situation. I think it makes a game kind of muddy. And when kids don't make shots, it's ugly. When kids make shots, it's not as big of an issue.
Let me give you a little pushback on that. So what I would say to you to that is, what about the aspect of, because I kind of agree with what you're saying, but now my pushback is, I always say, if I'm going to get on the refs about letting them play a little bit more, then the coaches got to be able to let the refs do that. And when things happen, they can't yell every little thing is a foul. Like sometimes I think contact happens, doesn't impact the play, the player keeps the ball, and he still goes, and we see something exciting happen, right? Because he doesn't call that ticky-tack stuff, right? But then, if you don't call it ticky-tack stuff, he missed a shot. Then I got the coach saying, but you got to call that foul out there. So you can't have it both ways.
You're right. It's an advantage-disadvantage situation. And I agree. And I think that we've developed not only at the high school level, but at a culture of that. But if you don't speak to the officials, it's working the officials a little bit. Like there's times where coaches get calls or players get calls that you're like, how did that happen? Well, it's because, you whispered in his ear 3 plays ago to watch for this, and that's what they're watching for. And again, I think 99% of the officials do a great job. They don't take things personally. The guys that'll talk to you, you can have a good relationship with. The guys that blow the whistle and run to the other side of the court, that's when it's tough. Don't yell at me, coach, but you ran to the other side of the court. How am I
communicate with you now?
Right. And again, you see it, and we watch a lot of higher level college, with a 3-man crew. There's an official next to the bench on every play, and so you can talk to them, and they will talk back to you, and it's fine. I think at the high school level, Class A, Class AA, Class AAA, it should be a 3-man crew. I think that they should. There's angles that they're screened off of on, and there's the game's too fast. The kids are getting bigger. They're getting faster. They play more. High school basketball 10 years ago to what it is now is not close. I think that adds to the game. We all have these beautiful facilities. We put a lot of money into busing the kids and getting to games and uniforms and everything else. What's another $100 a game? Everybody's playing 9 home games. So another $900. What are we talking? 2 football helmets?
Right. Come on, let's make it make sense. Because officials would love that. They love it.
But we've got a shortage of guys right now. So it's tough.
Topsy-turvy.
It is. It's hard.
Now talk to me a little bit. Like what I saw is your son. So your son, he seems to mirror your personality.
Oh no, he's a nut job. We've talked a lot. He's very emotional, and we need to curtail that. It's my job to advocate for the kids on the court. It's his job to play. And again, I think some of that is I've got to reteach my guys from AAU. And it's at AAU. There's more talking. There's more talking to the officials. There's more complaining. There's more illegal screens. There's more illegal contact. There's more fouls because the game's going to get over in an hour no matter what, right? Because you got to stay on schedule. And so I think it's hard to. I feel like we have to break down the players after the AAU season to get them in summer league as well, to get them ready for the regular season.
Yeah, that's why they did the Impact Cup. That was the kind of goal of the Impact Cup.
It was, and that was a great event, and I loved it, and it was a great opportunity for us to come down and compete with the bigger schools that we can't. We're only allowed 4 non-leagues games, so I can't get 4 suburban councils. Right.
You guys competed as well down there.
I mean, for us to come down and beat Colony and beat Niskayuna and lose a tough one to Shen, like I'm good with that. Like that was great for us.
Now, going back to your son again, I don't perceive that as a problem. I'm kind of looking at the positive, how he is able to kind of be that extension of getting guys going on the court and saying, hey guys, let's go, like that type of motor type of thing.
No, and that part is good. He's our vocal leader. Him and Jaden are our two. There are 2 guys that Jaden's a 4-year varsity player. This is Brady's 3rd year on varsity. They've played a lot of basketball. Those 2 guys have played more high level AAU than any of the other guys on my team. But it can't be what they do and then what the other guys do. It's got to be a cohesive mix.
Gotcha.
And and it's tough, and that's why these scrimmages are so important for us. I can't simulate that at practice. Right. My JV can't simulate it for me. Our bench can't simulate it for us. So these opportunities, there's only a couple of teams this year that'll pick us up full court like Shen did.
Right.
Because we'll break it and go over the top and be all set. But that type of, all the guys need to see that's 1, what it's like, and 2, sometimes why you're not out there.
100%.
So I mean, it was eye-opening, I think, for a few of the guys.
Yep.
And we do these things because I don't want them to pucker up when we get to the the big moments.
Right.
I mean, we've taken teams and gone and played everywhere we could play so that they would be prepared for our goal is to get to the Civic Center every year. And that should be a goal every season.
Right.
Is it a realistic goal every season? Probably not, but that's what we want to be as a program and what we've been as a program and would like to continue to be.
And that's what I would like to end off on that note, is to tell you that whatever you're building up there, that's what you have been and had been being, is competitive every single year. And like you said, even with the limitations that you have up there, being out the way, I tell you what, you ain't letting them get in your way. I tell you that.
I appreciate that. You guys made the trip to Hudson Falls a couple years ago. You're always welcome.